Welcome to our video on advanced techniques for improving your eBay auctions. In this video, we'll add the free MP3 player software to your auctions. In this video, I'm going to show you how to add the MP3 player, the free MP3 player software from this website, to your eBay auctions. And this is the address for getting your software, and as you can see, it's called the JW MP3 player. Currently, it's in version 3.99, and this is how it would look in your auctions. So what you'll need to do is download it here, and it downloads in a zip file. Okay, I have the download here, and I'm going to extract all the contents now. And okay, all the contents have been extracted to the following folder on the desktop, so let's have a look. There are a lot of files, as you can see, and it can be a little bit confusing initially. So in this video, I'm going to talk you through the process and show you the easiest way to add it to your auctions and to your site if you want. So first of all, you want to go to the README folder. Double-click and click on the shortcut, and it brings up the following README document. There's the address, and you can see that there's quite a lot of information there, so you may want to read through that if you really want to understand how the software works. However, what I'm going to show you is a much easier way to get up and running, rather than having to go through all this documentation. So let's go back to the folder, and we want to go up a folder. And okay, this file here, mp3player.html, if I double-click it, it just opens up some samples, as you can see. And that's the one we're going to use. You can, of course, use different ones, but I don't think it's particularly relevant to have a playlist of different audios in an eBay auction. And you can have videos in your eBay auctions, but I'll cover that in a later video. So the most useful area of this page actually is the online configuration wizard. So this takes you to this page on their website, and it makes the whole process of using their software easier. So pick Player, align with single MP3 file, and you see the preview appears here, and the code will keep changing. Okay, File to Play. Let's select all that text and delete it. You would have the MP3 file already uploaded on your website, so in this instance, http://www.demosite2.info/ and let's say eBay/eBayaudio.mp3. So I'm going to put the MP3 file in a subfolder, an eBay subfolder on my website. Okay, height of player 20, that's fine. Location of the SWF, that's the flash file that actually creates the player. So again, that has to be on your website, so you need the full path to your website, http://www.demosite2.info, in this instance as a demo site, /eBay/, and the name is MP3 player, all in lowercase, .swf. And I've just taken this name from the folder. You see there's an MP3 player.swf file. And actually, it's worth noting that this one is 33 kilobytes in size. It's quite different from the ._mp3 player.swf. I'm not entirely sure what that file is for, but it's only 1 kilobyte in size, so you want the mp3 player.swf file, which is 33 kilobytes. The size might be slightly different if you're using a different version of the software, a newer version, but that's the file to look out for. Okay, so back to the setup wizard, and with our player, width 320, and out of interest, let's change this to something narrower. Let's try 200. You can see this is how it currently looks, and let's reload the player. You see the code here changes. And here's how the player looks at 200 width. So you may want to play around with the width. Out of interest, let's try it at 100. And reload the player, and let's see how that looks. Okay, so that's another option to play around with. Let's take it back to 300 wide, and I would say it's probably best to leave it at 20 in height as absolutely fine. Okay, reload, and how it's looking now, and there we go. So align with single MP3 file, display height, nothing, file to play, the full web path to where you're going to upload it or where you've uploaded it, height of 20, but you can of course play around with different settings there. Image preview not relevant. Location of SWF full web path, again to where you've uploaded the MP3 player.swf file onto your website. Width of the player, you can play around with that. And you see that the code updates each time you reload the player. Interestingly now, if you toggle Advanced Flash Vars or Variables, it gives you more options. So you can play around with the background color, the foreground color, the highlight color. Playlist, not relevant to just one file. Display width, you see there's some duplication here. Large control bar. And out of curiosity, let's tick that and see how it looks. So tick that and reload the player. Okay, obviously I now need to change the display height. It's gone off the top of the display. So if I change the display height to 50, let's see how that does. Reload. Okay, some slightly unexpected results, but anyway, those are some things to play around with. So let's get rid of that, get rid of display height, and let's take it back to where it was before. So let's uncheck Large Controller. There are a lot of options to play around with to see how you prefer to present it if you don't prefer to present it in just the standard way. And now we should be back to, yes, we're back to how it originally looked. So you see that this is a bit involved, but once you have it all up and running, it works very well and looks very good. But because it's entirely free, you sort of have to tweak it to work with it. Whereas opposed to software and services that make it easier, but that you have to pay for. But in all those cases, you get support for helping you with using them. With free software, you generally don't get any support, or if you do, it may just be in a forum without the ability to receive any guaranteed responses. Okay, so large controller, logo if you like, stretch movies images, show digits in the control bar, and so on. You can turn the digits off, show download button, fake equalizer, so lots of options. But I would say basically one of the most important options is automatically start playing. It's currently false, and let's make it true. Interestingly, there's a muted option, but let's go with true. Repeat playing, I would say no, you don't want it to keep looping. Volume at startup, interestingly, you can change the volume, and there are even more options. Okay, let's reload the player with that, and let's take a look. It shouldn't look any different, but now it's started playing automatically, you see. So here is our code, and that's the code you'd put into your eBay auction, and I'll get into that in just a moment. But before we do that, we need to have the files uploaded to the website. Okay, I've gone to FTP, and on the demo site 2.info, I've created an eBay folder, and I've uploaded the audio file, the MP3 file that I created, and the MP3 player.swf file. So you just need those two files. It's quite straightforward. But make sure your paths, the paths you specified here, are entirely correct. Otherwise, obviously, the software won't work. So, okay, if we select this code, right-click and copy, and let's start our auction. Okay, so we're starting selling. Let's use our example again of the Lexmark printer just to keep consistent. Lexmark printer, and sell it. Okay, let's choose a category. And I'm going to close this since it takes up a lot of screen space. Close that, and let's just choose computing and printers. Save and continue. Okay, just very quickly put it together. Let's just say title, Lexmark printer for sale. That will do. And I'll skip all this because we don't need to fill all this in for this demonstration. What you want to do is, in the description area, click on HTML. And actually, before I do that, you could just do normal editing if you wish. Or you could go to HTML View and paste in your HTML code that you may have created in Front Page or Dreamweaver or Mozilla Composer. And if you're comfortable in working in HTML code, then you just copy and paste your audio code in the right place. As an alternative, if we go to Standard Editing, we can start creating our auction. Let's say auction title, brief description, and maybe just below the title is where you want the audio. So press Enter there to add some space. And then if we go to HTML View, okay, if you're going to be adding HTML code, you should be at least somewhat familiar with HTML, or at least the structure of it, so you know where to place the code. So here's a likely place. There's the auction title text, and then the BR tag. That effectively adds a blank line. So we have 4 blank lines before the description starts, 4 line breaks before the description starts. So let's put this code in the middle of the line breaks, there. Then I'll just press Enter a few times to tidy up the HTML so it's not all cluttered on one line. So now, if I click here, right-click and paste, there's the code that was automatically created for us. So now, if I go to Preview, and okay, here's a preview of our description area, and you can see how it looks. There's the text I quickly put together, and you see that it adds the player, and it plays automatically because that's the option we chose. So if you want automatic audio in your auctions, and you're happy to spend a little time getting things set up for free with this software, then once you have things set up and running, this is a very good solution. It looks professional, and it's very easy for your auction visitors to use. For example, they could easily press the pause button, or they could even jump through the audio if they want, although there's really no point in doing that if your audio is quite short. And they can easily change the volume here as well, so it's a great free piece of software. And if you're happy adding audio to your auctions, and also if you're happy having your audio run or start automatically, this is a great solution. And as you can see, once you've gotten used to working with the software setup, you can literally be up and running in 5 minutes or so by setting the options that the code has created, uploading the MP3 file and the SWF file to the right place on your website, and then adding the code to embed the player, adding the code to your auction description.